Imagine being in the wrong place at the wrong time and it costing you your life. This is the chilling story of Janine Balding. Born into a loving family, Janine was a beacon of light in every room she stepped into. She was known for her contagious laughter, her undying love for her family, and her dreams of making a difference in the world. A young woman, full of life and promise, Janine Balding's life was abruptly and brutally cut short in the prime of her youth. Her tale is not just another number in the crime statistics, but a poignant reminder of the unpredictability of life and the darkness that sometimes lurks in the most unexpected corners. Janine was not just a victim, but a daughter, a sister, a friend. She was a person who had dreams, ambitions, and a future that was stolen from her. The day began like any other. The sun was shining, the birds were singing, and Janine was stepping out into the world, oblivious to the horror that awaited her. Little did she know that her path would cross with 5 homeless youths who would become the harbingers of her doom. These were not monsters born out of a horror flick, but ordinary individuals who had fallen through the cracks of society. They were homeless, desperate, and in their desperation they committed an act so horrific that it sent shockwaves through the country. The question that haunts us all is, how could such a thing happen? How could 5 individuals devoid of a proper home or the comfort of a family commit such an atrocious crime? Was it the result of their circumstances, their upbringing, or was there a deeper, more sinister reason lurking beneath the surface? As we delve deeper into this chilling tale, we will try to unravel the mystery surrounding Janine Balding's untimely demise and seek to understand the circumstances that led to her tragic end. But how did 5 homeless youths end up committing such a horrific crime? We will uncover the answers in the following scenes. Prepare yourselves for a journey into the heart of darkness. A journey that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about humanity. 5 homeless youths, each with a unique backstory, all linked by a common thread of desperation. This is where our story takes a dark turn, as we delve into the lives of these 5 individuals, each one twisted by the harsh realities of the street. Firstly, we have the de facto leader of the group, a boy barely out of his teens, hardened by years of living on the margins of society. Abandoned by his parents, he learned early on that survival meant doing whatever it took, no matter how unspeakable. Then there's the second boy, a runaway from an abusive home. He fled to escape the torment, only to find that the streets held their own forms of cruelty. In this hostile world, he found solace in the group, a twisted semblance of the family he never had. The third boy was a drifter, moving from one city to the next, following the ebb and flow of the homeless community. He was a lost soul, seeking purpose and belonging, tragically finding it in this dire brotherhood. The 2 girls in the group, both victims of exploitation and neglect, were drawn into this life due to dire circumstances. The streets were their refuge, a haven from the horrors they had experienced, and in the group, they found a perverse sense of protection. These 5 souls, each carrying their own baggage of despair, formed a bond. They lived on the edge of society, unseen, unheard, and unloved. Their lives were a daily struggle for survival, and in this struggle, they lost sight of their humanity. Their desperation, their anger at the world that had abandoned them, and their distorted sense of right and wrong led them to Janine Balding. She became a symbol of everything they were denied, a stable home, love, and a sense of belonging. Their paths were destined to cross with Janine's on that fateful night. As we will see, this encounter would lead to one of the most horrifying crimes in recent history. The night of September 8, 1988, began like any other but ended in unimaginable horror. As twilight blanketed the city, Janine Balding, a young woman full of hopes and dreams, was unsuspectingly going about her routine. Little did she know, the darkness of the night was hiding a monstrous plot, a plot that would brutally strip her of her life. 5 homeless youths, their souls lost to the abyss of cruelty and indifference, were lurking in the shadows. They had marked Janine as their prey, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The air was thick with tension as they closed in, their intentions as dark as the night itself. Suddenly, Janine was snatched from her path, her cries swallowed up by the city's deafening cacophony. The youths, driven by a perverse thrill, showed no mercy. Janine was pushed into a stolen vehicle, her pleas for mercy falling on deaf ears. They drove to a remote location, a desolate place where the city's noise was but a distant echo. There, under the cold gaze of the moon, they enacted their heinous plan. Janine was raped and brutally murdered, her life extinguished, in the most horrific manner. The night that began as any other had turned into a nightmare of unthinkable proportions. The city that was once Janine's home had become the stage for her tragic end. The laughter and life that once filled her were replaced by a chilling silence that echoed through the barren landscape. The morning sun rose, oblivious to the horror that had unfolded under its nighttime counterpart. The city woke up to another day, unaware of the monstrous act that had tainted its soul. The 5 homeless youths, their heinous act complete, disappeared back into the shadows from whence they came. Janine's life was cruelly snuffed out, but the story doesn't end here. The echoes of her horrific end reverberated through time, setting off a sequence of events that would shake the city to its core. The night of horror was just the beginning. The search for justice was about to commence. In the aftermath of Janine's death, the wheels of justice began to turn. The veil of tranquility was lifted, revealing a relentless pursuit for truth and justice. Investigators, armed with their wits and determination, delved into the gruesome case, leaving no stone unturned. The crime scene was a chilling tableau of inhumanity. As the investigators tiptoed through the labyrinth of clues, they cataloged every piece of evidence, every scrap of information. They worked tirelessly, their minds in constant motion, piecing together the horrifying jigsaw that was Janine's final hours. The path was not easy. The labyrinth was complex, filled with false leads and dead ends, but the investigators were undeterred. They were driven by a singular purpose: to bring the culprits to book. Amidst the sea of perplexing clues, emerged a beacon of hope. The discovery of a set of fingerprints, a seemingly insignificant piece of evidence, turned the tide in their favor. The fingerprints led them to the first suspect, a homeless youth with a history of petty crimes. The arrest of the first suspect was like the first domino in a chain, quickly followed by the capture of the others. One by one, the homeless youths were rounded up. Their capture, while a significant breakthrough, was also a stark reminder of the grim reality that such young lives were immersed in such darkness. During the interrogations, a chilling narrative began to unfold. The investigators listened, their faces hardened, as the youths recounted their heinous act. Their confessions, while distressing, provided the final pieces of the puzzle. The case was coming together, painting a clear picture of what had transpired on that dreadful night. Yet, as the investigators closed in on the truth, they couldn't help but reflect on the cost of this justice. The life of a young woman was brutally snuffed out, and 5 young lives were on the brink of being wasted. Justice was on the horizon, but at what cost? The trial of the 5 youths was a media sensation, sparking debates about homelessness, youth crime, and societal failures. As the courtroom filled to capacity, the nation held its collective breath, waiting for justice to be served. The prosecution painted a chilling picture of that fateful night. They detailed the horrifying acts committed by the homeless youths, their lack of remorse, and their total disregard for human life. The defense, on the other hand, attempted to shed light on the harsh realities of homelessness, the systemic failures that led these youths to the streets, and the desperation that drove them to commit such a heinous act. The public was torn. On one hand, there was a palpable demand for justice for Janine Balding, a young woman whose life was so brutally cut short. On the other, there was a growing awareness of the dire circumstances that can drive individuals to crime, and a realization that society had failed these youths in some way. The verdict came as a shock to no one. Guilty. The 5 were sentenced to life in prison, their young lives effectively over. The public breathed a sigh of relief. Justice, it seemed, had been served. But the aftermath of the trial left a lasting impact on society. It sparked a nationwide debate about homelessness and youth crime. It led to changes in laws and public attitudes. There was a renewed focus on providing adequate support for at-risk youth and addressing the root causes of homelessness. The trial served as a wake-up call, a reminder that society's most vulnerable members can sometimes be its most dangerous. While justice was served, the haunting memory of Janine Balding and the brutal crime committed by 5 desperate youths continues to linger. Their story serves as a grim reminder of the consequences of societal neglect and the urgent need for change. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share this video with your friends.